Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout out goes to Michael Gardner. Michael was first to say first in one of my recent videos and thus wins this shout out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here with a review of the new Eachine E130 helicopter. Now, what is the E130 helicopter? Well, those of you who've been seeing my reviews recently, I've been doing quite a bit of, well, several helicopters in the past month or so. The E130 is a large brushless, large brushed motor helicopter. In effect, it is a larger version of the review of the Eachine E129, which I reviewed recently, but it's quite a bit larger actually than the E120. It's about the same size and actually almost the same design as the recent E160, which I've reviewed recently, the brushless motor E160. Now, there are quite a bit of differences between the E160 and the E130. First off, this one's $100 more than the E130, the E160, and there's quite a few reasons why. There's a lot of quality components on this. For one, the hub on the E160 is all metal components throughout the swash plate and the collective control. It has collective control along with a collective servo, brushless motors. So there's a lot of things different between this and the E130. So don't expect, just because it's a larger size, it's very similar to look to the E160. It is not the E160, okay? Let's go over that. We'll start from the top down. First off, we got high efficiency nylon plastic propellers here to provide good efficiency of flight and help to get us. This thing supposedly gets 15 minutes of flight time, and that should help us get it. For the hub is plastic on the E130. It's very similar to what's on the E160, except it's plastic now. Now let's take off the cover here, the canopy of this, and take a look inside, and I'll show you some of the other differences that we got on this particular helicopter that justifies its price, making this more of a beginner's helicopter than the E160 being a hobby grade. Now, what we got inside here is now we have a brushed motor, and actually this is a 050 brushed motor, very similar to what was on the WL Toys V262, for those of you that can remember. However, this particular motor has a heatsink on it to help improve the longevity of this brushed motor. Additionally, notice we no longer have a collective control. There is no collective servo here to provide up-down control via collective. Okay, we still have full cyclic control with two servos to control the cyclic, which is pitch and roll, but no longer have we collective control to adjust rotor pitch to provide up-down movement. Instead, up-down movement is controlled by throttle of this particular motor to speed up the motor, to give it more lift, and to reduce the speed of the motor to reduce the lift on the helicopter. Additionally, what we got in here is a nice flight control board. Flight control board includes 6G stabilization system, which is 3 accelerometers and 3 gyros, electronic gyros, to provide pitch and roll and yaw stability. We do not have a flybar on this. No mechanical stability is provided. So, and that's a big advance of helicopters these days. We're seeing the flybar go away here on the RC helicopters now that we got electronic stabilization instead of mechanical stabilization like in the past. Other things about it, the tail rotor is also a brushed motor. This is an 8520 brushed motor on the tail, and along with this is actually probably, I don't know if this is carbon fiber, folks. We had carbon fiber boom on this one, but this one appears to be plastic or nylon on this particular drone, or in the helicopter. And again, all in all, the end effect of this is to greatly reduce the cost of this, making it appropriate for a beginner. I believe it's around $60, $70 price range as compared to $170 on this thing. So again, now it is beginner's range helicopter. Now, what have I covered so far? Now, it does have 4-channel control, which means we have pitch, roll control, we have rudder control, and again we have throttle control to control altitude. There is no 3D capability as in the E160. The E160 could actually fly upside down because of that collective control. Since we no longer have collective control, you can't flip this particular drone upside down. It can't fly upside down in effect. Other things on it, it has altitude hold capability, okay, same as the E129, so that makes it very easy again for beginner pilots to fly. It does have one key takeoff and landing capability. The weight of this particular helicopter is 131 grams, and that's an advantage because this does not require registration in most countries. Now, it is powered by a 7.4 volt 700 milliamp hour? Yeah, 700 milliamp hour battery. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll try to bring it up here, see if it'll focus or not. But with this 7.4 volt 700 milliamp hour with red JST connector, you get approximately 15 minutes of flight time. That's great too. Okay, now let's talk about the controller. The controller of this is the Eachine's controller for this. It is Spektrum DSM2 DSMX protocol. So if you're looking to use your own controller, you can possibly use DSM2 DSMX Spektrum protocol to bind your controller. But if this is a reasonable controller for this particular helicopter. I've flown with it, and it works reasonably well. Let's go over the buttons for this. For this particular controller, the button up here is for adjusting rates from low to high rate. If you want to fly higher and more agile, you do a quick press, and let's just show that. Quick press, and that'll go from low. Right now it's high rate and then low rate. And you can see which one you're in by looking on your LCD screen. It tells you. Other buttons on this button here is for hover mode. Now, what is hover mode? Hover mode is this enables the controller to remember trim settings. I am going to do a separate video and include it with this to show how to use this particular button and describe in detail what this hover mode button is. There's one thing you need to also know. This can be flown in either mode 1 or mode 2. You can purchase this already with a controller already set up to mode 2, but you can also switch this between mode 1, mode and 2 manually in case you purchase the wrong mode by simply holding down this left button while turning on the transmitter, and that will switch from, right now I was on the left mode, now I'm on mode 2, so the throttle's now on the right. Now if I want to switch back to mode 2 to put the throttle on the left, I have to turn it off. Now these buttons are switched. Now the rate button is over here along with the mode switch button, and this is now the hover button. Now to switch back to mode 2, I hold the right button down now and turn on the transmitter, and now throttle's on the left. This is back to the rate button and the mode control button. This is also now your hover button. Other buttons on this, it does have automatic takeoff and automatic landing by pressing that button there. It does have trim control for momentary trim. Now if you use these trim buttons without the mode button, you can trim the drone in flight, but it won't remember those settings. You need to use this mode button for successive flights if you want this controller to remember mode settings. And again, I will go into that in detail later. Okay, now let's go over what's available in the package itself. You get the user manual. The user manual is available in English. I don't see any other language in here. It is a good user manual. It covers it in detail. But again, English only, it seems to be. You get the helicopter. You get a spare set of blades. And you get 1, 2, or 3 batteries, depending on which version that you purchase. You know, if you're considering flying this for extended periods, I recommend getting multiple battery versions, okay? Because transportation of LiPo batteries separately is very difficult and costly. So Banggood will bundle extra batteries with this if you buy them at the time of purchase of the helicopter. If you want to buy extra batteries later, that can be difficult and costly. So if you're considering extra batteries, get them when you purchase the drone. Again, you get a spare set of propellers. You get a controller, or not a controller, a charger for these batteries. It's a 2S charger, automatic charger, USB charger, so that is good too. I actually use my hobby grade with this, but you can use that too. You get the controller, you get the helicopter, you get a spare tail rotor blade, and a spare main gear, and along with a micro screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and an Allen wrench for removing the props, or the main rotor blades. So that's what you get in the package. So that is the E130. Let's take it out in the field. First, let's take it down into my basement. I'll show you how to trim it up, and then we'll take it out in the field and see how it flies. So hope you enjoy these flights. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here. And before we take this out into the field, I want to go over this hover trim button, how to use it, folks. It's not entirely clear on what this is and what it does. Now, normally, to trim pitch and roll and yaw, you just simply press these pitch, roll, and yaw trim buttons until you get the helicopter to enter a stable hover. However, this controller does not remember those settings. Once you turn off this controller and return it on again, everything goes back the way it was before. So, you know, for successive flights, you'll have to trim it out over and over and over again. That's where this hover button comes in. It helps remember those trim settings. But there's a specific way on how to do that, folks. Let's go over that. Let's get the helicopter in the air. Now, I am going to fly this indoors to do this trimming, and I recommend you do the same if you have a large indoor room to do such. If not, you can also do this outdoors, but on a windless day. You know, trim up your helicopter on a windless day outdoors. But what I've done is plug in the battery, put it on the ground. Again, there's no wind indoors. If you have your hot air system in your room going off, do not do that. Wait until the heating system shuts down, because you don't want any air blowing around here. Same with fans. Okay, now to connect the controller to the helicopter, you turn it on, and you notice it rapid blinks on the helicopter, but you go up and down on the throttle one time, and that links the controller to the helicopter. Now notice all your trim settings are centered. Okay, this will happen each and every time you do this. Now there's one thing. If you notice very strong drifting of the helicopter once you take off, there's a chance that your gyros have been offset, you know, in shipment or from being bumped. Now this is helicopter, I'm pretty sure it's based on a WL Toys manufacturing, in that you can recalibrate your gyros on this. And watch those red lights if you can still see them from my position here. If we move both sticks and hold them down and to the left, they rapidly blink and the gyro is recalibrated. Now that'll take care of extreme drifting. If the helicopter's going through extreme drifts, that should slow it down, but it won't trim it up entirely to get perfect hover. Now to get perfect hover, we got to use this trim button in conjunction with these trim buttons here, in conjunction with this hold button. And to do such, we got to put the aircraft into the air first. Now what I'm going to do, folks, is put the aircraft into the air, and we're going to notice drifting. And then I'm going to hold this button down for about 5 seconds until we hear a beep, and then I'm going to trim it up using these trim buttons. You know, if the helicopter is drifting forward, I'm going to trim it back by pressing down on this pitch trim button, pitch trim button. If it's drifted to the left, I'll just do rapid presses of this right trim button until we get perfect hover. And then once we get perfect hover, I'm going to land the helicopter and then press and hold this button one more time till we hear a second beep, and then the controller will remember those trim settings, okay? So let's do such. To get the helicopter started, we go both sticks down and out, and then we'll take to the air. And right away, I notice hard left drift. So what I want to do is press this hover button. Let's take it up a bit higher too to do this, and until we hear a beep. Okay, now the lights are flashing on the controller. Now I want to stabilize that by repeated right clicks until that left drift goes away. Okay, left drift is good. Now if I landed this and restart the helicopter, we go back to the same problem. It would drift. Let me do a little bit more. It wouldn't remember this setting. Okay, but we're not done yet. I still got a little bit of back drift, so I want to go forward on the pitch trim button until we get perfect hover. Once back. That looks really good. Okay, so we got perfect trim. Now to remember those settings, again, remember we need to land this first. Wait until the helicopter stops. And then notice it's still flashing. It's waiting for any more inputs. I don't have any more inputs. We should be good. So I'm going to hold this button down again until that beep goes and it stops flashing. So now I can turn off the helicopter, turn off the transmitter, and it should remember those trim settings, so we should have perfect hover, perfect trim of the helicopter. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here with a review of the Eachine E130 helicopter. We're out here at Pleasant Ridge Park to fly. I'm flying right here in this area here because it's blocking the wind. There's a wind coming from the south, and these trees in my back here is blocking the wind. So this is a nice stable area to fly the helicopter. But to get this started, again, all we need to do first is plug in the battery. Make sure red to red, black to black with this JST connectors. They can be a little bit funky if you're not careful. Okay, red GST connector is connected. Make sure it's all the way in. And putting it on the pad, landing pad. Then turning on the transmitter. Then binding the transmitter up and down. So we should be good to go. And the wind is starting to pick up just a little bit here. So down and out to start the motor, and throttling up. There it goes with the wind a bit. Okay, this is actually, again, for beginners. And it's having a hard time fighting the wind. Let's increase the rates. Second rate. Trying to fight the wind. It's having a bit of a problem trying to fight wind. Okay, now we're picking up speed. Maybe that rate just kicked in now. Full forward pitch. No, this is not a super fast helicopter, folks. Again, meant for beginners. And meant for low wind days too, so keep that in mind too. Better keep this over here to get it away from the wind. Let's get closer to the trees. See, here it is coming back. Okay, the wind has stopped. Now it's hovering. Right here, it's nice, gentle area. So I don't know about being an outdoor flyer because, again, I am in high rate. I believe I am in high rate. Yes, I am. So let's try it again. Going up a little higher, pushing forward. Let's try to pick up some speed with this thing. Now, hefty size, well, this isn't hefty, not a huge helicopter. There are bigger, there are quite a bit bigger than this. But, you know, again, I guess this is mainly meant for indoors. I want to try something. And there's what could do on funnels. We used to call these with drones. We still do, I guess. But it's a really docile helicopter, really docile. So again, meant for beginners. Just a little bit bigger than the A129 if you're looking for something A129 size. But again, you're going to need low wind day to fly this. This is not for any type of wind because it will have difficulty. Let's go up a bit higher. It turns well, turns rapidly. But I'm going to stay close to these trees to keep away from the wind. See right there, there's wind there, over there. So let's get it back over toward me here in this tree area, and there it goes picking up speed as it gets into this area here of little wind. Yeah. So, you know, if you're looking for something bigger than the 129, the 129 is a good flyer. I think the 129 handles wind better than this, to tell you the truth. But now this uses the same size battery as that 160, and that 160's got tons of power. Yeah. Again, it's not a trim issue because look right there. Okay, let me go back to low. This is low rate. Doesn't seem much different than high rate. Well, it is a little bit different. Okay, let's hover it again. Then go into high rate. And pushing forward. Yeah. It accelerates slowly, but once it gets going, it gets going. And just turn, well, try to turn it slowly. You know, I think its gyros need a little bit of a tweaking on this thing because it does wobble around quite a bit. Okay, letting go again, showing its stability. It is stable, a stable hover. So yeah, maybe this is meant for indoors. You know, taking it outdoors, trying to open it up big time, it just doesn't do it. It's really docile, really docile. And when you try to turn like that, see how it wobbles? Let's show it up close. So, don't turn quickly. Make sure my hat's on properly. Bring it closer. Let's keep it closer now. Okay, with that in mind, we are just going to fly close. Now, let's try diagonal backward. What did I just do? I pushed it on the left stick. Doesn't say what that does, but it beeped when I pushed it in the left stick. Let's try it again. No, it did nothing. I don't know why that beeped, to tell you the truth. Yeah, a small park, low wind day. This is okay for a beginner to go play. So I'm just doing gentle, slow turns. So I wonder how much flight time we get out of this. You know, they say 15 minutes. You know, the Eachine helicopters have been really accurate on predicting how much flight time you get. You know, they haven't been exaggerating. So we might be able to get 15 minutes out of this. Let's bring it down lower, hover it. Let's try the yaw. This is high rate yaw. The other way. High rate yaw. And let's try funnels again. Whoa. Lost a lot of lift there. Let's try it again. Up and diagonal. And bringing it down a bit. Pushing forward. Let's try diagonal backward funnels. No, what was that? I don't know why it beeped. Oh, I know why it beeped. By doing those diagonal funnels, it thinks it's calibrating the gyros. Okay. I went down and to the left with the sticks. That's gyro calibration, but we're in flight, so that should not do anything while we're in flight. How about diagonal down and to the right? Okay, just trying wacky things with it. So, okay, going overhead, give myself a haircut there, and boy do I need one, right? Yeah, once the wind dies down and you're in a general area, it's flying okay. Well, a little wobbly, but flying okay. Now let's take it out and see what type of range. We're going to go flying toward the, it's about 30-40 meters away, the maintenance shed there, or the picnic area. Coming back, let's get some speed, full speed. Reducing throttle a bit here, full pitch forward. That's its full speed, folks. So coming this way, let's see its full speed. Give it some throttle too at the same time. It's not a zippy thing, but yeah, this is definitely a beginner's helicopter, larger than the E129, made for low wind days. It's big enough that you can see it up there. You know, like the 129 is about 2/3 the size of that thing. This one's quite a bit bigger. And just let it hover on its own there. So yeah, beginners should, you know, if you go out in your local field like this, you know, your local baseball diamond on a low wind day, yeah, you should be able to easily fly this. Pushing forward, let's just turn it. You can practice flying by pushing forward. The altitude hold is working well. You know, it does have altitude hold, so you just let go, turn it the other way, push forward. Altitude hold. No, but it's not sporty in any means, being a sport drone. It's not meant to be, though. The wind's hitting it again. Let's see how it affects the flight going forward here. We had a little bit of gust there. It's fighting that wind. Let's see it drift. Drift with the wind. Turning it back toward me. Pushing forward. Turn it toward me more. So, oh no, reasonable beginner's drone, or beginner's helicopter, but not really sporty. Not meant to be, I guess. Altitude hold again works well. So if you just want to fly around like this, yeah. And, well, as a beginner, I guess you are going to be flying around like this, just to get the feel of a helicopter. And this is more than sufficient for doing that. Just don't bump into yourself, because those blades will hurt. It's a good-sized helicopter. Don't bump into your dog either, or furniture, because you're going to hurt your dog. You're not going to hurt the furniture, but you will probably break those blades. Go up here in the shady area, more shady, closer to the tree line. I hope my camera's coming out with this. I don't know about the dynamic range of my camera, but okay, we'll go down to the full sunlight. Yeah, that worries me there. Dynamic range of my camera might not be showing this properly. But there we go, just in my camera. Flying around. And the price range of this, you know, well, I guess it's going for $60 right now. That's actually not a bad price for this type of helicopter. You know, you got true cyclic control. No collective, but altitude hold. And it actually flies nicely if you keep it docile. Okay, I think my battery might be getting a little low there. I don't know, but we'll find out. Pushing forward again. Let's fly. I'm trying to do figure eights. Give a little bank in the turn here. And a little bank in the turn. Coming back, the wind's buffing it a bit. And plopping it there. And come back to me. Pushing forward. It does not accelerate very fast. Give it a little more throttle to get it up higher. Breeze is hitting it a bit. Okay, plop it there. Let's see it drift with the breeze. There's the breeze going, pushing it. Yeah, you got any wind at all with this thing, it bumps around, it bounces around. Well, bumpity bumpity. And that's its flight time, folks. Full throttle up. So, total flight time, that is it. Ain't no more. So, that's the Eachine E130 beginner's medium-sized helicopter. Not micro, but I guess you call it medium, or my viewers will correct me what the proper size is on this. But again, Eachine E130, meant for beginners. So, you know, on low wind days. So hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, Helicopter 101, signing out. Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.